So here what we have is that here we have a case that in a try we can have a something like 1009 of the code, and there can be the multiple error occurs. For every that error, if we are writing like this catch, then that will be the too much uh, complexity we have. What we are doing is we have a one catch. That catch can accept all the kind of the exception. This is basically exception E. So here this exception class is a base class for the exception. Fine. All the class, all the classes of the exception has been inherited from this exception class. So this is a base class, and this is basically general purpose exception. All the runtime errors can be matched for this kind of the cache. These are general purpose cache. So here, let us take a few examples. First of all, we do not have any error. Then what is going to happen? Fine. Okay, we have a 1010, then no error, and then again we do not have any error over here. So here we have 1010, no error. We'll execute this, and then no error. So no error, it will skip all the catches, and then we'll write down like this only. Now here, suppose we have an error. Then here we have an error. We'll come out, we'll skip out that, and we'll try to match this catch. It's matching. It will execute this, and then rest of the catch will be skipped. Even this catch will be skipped. General purpose catch will be skipped, and that will be outside the try will be printed. Fine. Now assume that we have a second error like here. So we do not have any error. So value of C will be printed. We'll go for this, and then we have error, and this error is a array index out of the bound. Fine. Okay. In a previous case, it was an arithmetic error. So suppose it's matching over here, then it will go like here. Suppose we have a assume that we do not have any catch, other catch. So what it will do is it will try to go for this matching. Fine. Or suppose it has some catch like this. So we have a error over here, b of 10. So it will go for this catch. No, it's not matching. Then we'll try to go for the second catch. Yes, it's matching. It's a general purpose catch. It's matching. It will execute this. So this general purpose catch will give you the surety that if the any other catch will executed or not, but this is going to execute if others are not executed. Fine. So that's a basically general purpose catches. So now let us save and execute this program. Line number 29. This value of C, it will handle all the exceptions. That's a general purpose exception and outside the try and catch. So this is basically general purpose catch. These are the finally. Now the finally is a block which will be executed each and every time, whether the error will occur or not. Fine. Normally between a try and catch there should not be any statement. If you will put any statement over here like system.out.println, it will give a compile time error. Fine. Okay, you cannot put it over here. The try must be followed by the catch or finally. Fine. Okay. So here what we have is we have a one demo program. We have a I equal to something, j equal to something, and assume that here when we enter in a try block we have a settings and then something like setting of a background, color change, everything we have. Okay, suppose we are writing a coding for the game, and so whenever we will enter in a try, we will do the same background settings, font settings, something different. We have changed the background as a red color. Okay, then we have a working, and then we have a resetting. So uh, whenever we will have an error in between over here, then resetting will not done, and then whenever we will come out from the program, the background will be the red and the font will be what is the big font setting we have done. So that we do not want. We want that the resetting should be always done. Fine. So what we can do is that we can put like this. We have a I and J, and then we have a try block. Okay, here we do the what is the setting we want to do it, and then we have a C equal to I divided by J. If error occurred, suppose it's a, let us take it as a 2. As this is no error, so it will continue for this try block. Okay, what is the coding we have? That will continue. Resetting will be not there. Then we will have a, we do not require to go for the catch, but it will go for the finally. We are in final will be printed, and after finally will be printed. So that will be the normal execution. So it will not go for the catch, but it will go for the finally. Let us check it. We are in finally and after finally. Fine. Okay. Now let us see that suppose we have an error. Then what is going to happen? We have an error. Now it will go for the catch because these are arithmetic exception. These are matching for the all the exception. It will execute this, and after that execution, it will also go for the finally. So this block will be executed each and every time. Finally block, whether error occur not or not occur. So the output will be exception code. We are finally and after finally. Let us check it. Exception code. We are in finally and after finally. So finally block will be executed each and every time, whether error occur or not. User defined exception. Until now we have seen that what is the exception condition that was decided by the Java itself. That if you have created an integer array of 2 elements and you are accessing 10 elements, Java knows that 10 is not possible. If you are dividing any number with a 0, Java knows that that is a basically error. So that is known as a built-in exceptions. Now here, for some of the cases, we can define the user-defined exception. Like we can raise the error as per our condition, as per our requirement. Like for example, the employee case or the salary case. For example, in my organization, the minimum salary is a 5,000. If less than 5,000, I want to generate a exception. In somebody's organization, the condition can be something different. Instead of the 5,000, it can be the 50,000 or 10,000. So this is known as a user-defined exception. The user or the programmer will give the condition exactly in which condition the error should be raised. So let us go for how we can do the coding. For that one again we have to write our class myException. What is name you want to give it, you can give it, but that class must be extended from the exception class, because this exception itself is a class which has a capacity to handle the error, and that's a base class for the exception handling mechanism. You can refer the same basically all that entire hierarchy of the exception handling mechanism, which are the classes and subclasses of the exception from the internet. So here, uh, this is basically shows that the Java itself uses the inheritance. This is a simple inheritance or single inheritance. So our now my exception class has all the capacity which has been inherited for the exception is available in our my exception class. Now here we have a constructor and super. Super means base class, exception class. We are passing that message. What is the message here we have? That we are passing over here. We will come to this basically coding, entire coding two times. The first time right now we are referring, and the second time also we will go step by step. So by two-stage approach, the entire coding will be clear. So if you have any doubt, don't worry, wait for the few minutes. Then we have a class 6 or class employee. What is the class you want to create? Then we have a main. We have taken a one salary variable is a 600. Then we have a try. Here we have to mention the condition manually because Java does not know which is the condition for the error. For my case it is a 5000. For the other case it can be the 1000 also. So if salary is less than 5000, then throw, then new, and then my exception. This is basically we have to create a one error object and that we have to show it. So this basically what we have done is a my exception is a one class which has already made by us, and that is a one argument we have constructor we have with the argument. So this invalid salary will be passed as a message over here. Here we have created the object of the error, that's a my exception, and then constructor will be called and we are passing the invalid salary, so message will be invalid salary, and the same message we are passing to the super means exception class. Fine, okay. So in exception class, like divide by zero error, it will say invalid salary as a error message, and then if no any error, then it will go for the else, when we are giving a bonus of a 1000 rupees, and then new salary we are printing, and then we have a catch. If the error will be generated, then it will skip the rest of the portion of a try, and then it will try to go for a matching catch over here. Yes, it's matching. Yes, it's matching. Then it will execute over here. If it's not matching, it will go for the second catch. In a such a way, it will continue. If no match will be found, then it will say unreported exception or abnormal program termination will happen. But here is basically founding the cache, so it will not give you abnormal program termination. So exactly, let us see the flow again. The 600, let us take a first of all 6000. The 6000, so it will go for the try. Then if it's false, it will go for the say 7000. Make salary 7000. New salary will be printed as a 7000. No need of this cache because no error. So the new salary will be printed. Fine. Okay. Now assume that we have a 600 now, and then what will happen? Here we have a salary is less than 5000, that's yes true. It will create a one error, and that all the information related with the error will be copied into this object, and then it will skip this, and then it will try to go for the matching the catch. Yes, this is a matching catch because the type of the error we have raised is a my exception and the same is available over here. So E is pointing to that all the say data of the error raised, and then it will execute this, and then will come out from all the catches, and if any statement is there over here, that will be executed. So that is the basically working of this program. Let us check it. Again they will give us 6000, and then you can see the output should be what? It should be the new salary is something this. Okay, check it. Fine, 7000. Okay, now we are putting this 600, then error will be shown, and then will user defined expression will be called, and then program will be terminated. User defined exception, my exception, and then message will be see invalid salary. Fine, okay. So this is a user defined exception. Nested try block. We have a try block inside the try block. Let us take a one example. We have a I equal to 10, j equal to 0, and we have created a one array of 2 integers, and then we have a C. we have a fun method. Inside the fun method, what we have is we have a try block. And we are accessing the a of 10 equal to 20. This is basically will give you the error array index out of the bound error. You will see this coding two times. Then assume that we have a catch available over here. We have a multiple catch available, and then we have a main. From the main, what we are doing is in main we are printing, then object of the 7 is being created, and then we are calling a fun function. Please understand that this is inside the try block. If any error will occur and that is not handled, then at that case, again after calling the fun function, if error occur and that is not handled, it will come out from the fun function. At that time, the rest of the portion will be skipped, and then it will try to go for the matching of these catches. Okay. So now let us take an example. Again, we are going to the fun function, calling the fun function. So it will jump to the fun function, and then we have an error over here. Fine. Okay, a of 10 we are accessing. So here we have a matching catch. We have a problem or issue, and then punishment has been given. So it has been resolved. It has been resolved now. It means that it will not go for this catch, and it will go for the basically as a normal execution. Fine. Okay, this statement will be executed at this time, and then it will come out from this one function with the error has been resolved. It will go for the normal execution, and no need for the going for the catch, and then it will print this last statement of the main. Let us check it again. So output should be what here in main first, then we'll jump to this, and then we will have an error, then from fun array index out of bound, that's why, and then this statement, and then we'll be back, and the last statement, and then last statement of the main. Array index out of the bound exception that we have to write. So what we can do it over here is let us go for we'll remove this. Okay, and then we will have a c equal to a divided by b. Okay, now let us compile. This is basically output. Find the perfect output we got. Now let us take a error. So this is basically error output. Now let us take out this case, the normal case. Then again, what will happen? It will go for this, and then no error. Then it will execute this, and then it will come out from the phone without any error, and it will continue this. But now let us take one example that we have this error like a of 20 we want to access equal to 10. Then what will happen? That's the main objective of this program. Fine. Okay, so now let us go for the step by step. Again, main, we are inside the try. Please understand that we are inside the try, and for that one we are calling the fun function. So this is nesting, because fun also has a try and catch block. So again, it will print a main first, then object created, and then for object we are calling the fun function. We are over fun. Inside the fun we have a try, we have an error. This is matching, no it's not matching. Okay, so as we have error over here, the rest of the portion of the try is being skipped. It has gone for the trying to match this one, is not matching. So if the error is not handled and we do not have any other catches, it will skip the rest of the portion of the fun, and it will report back over here in this case without error resolved. So here the error has been not resolved, so the rest of the portion of this try block will be skipped, and it will try to go for the matching of the catch over here. It's matching, so that will be printed over here, and that will print then after last statement of the main. So now let us check it. Fine. Okay, so this is basically how the nesting will happen. Rethrowing the exception. Sometimes we require to read through the exception. Here we have taken the previous case. Fine. Okay. Here what we have done is that if the error occur, and then we find out that uh, basically the same thing. What is the rest of the thing we want to do? That has been already we have done in a outer try block. So what we can do is we can throw the error over here. That's known as the rethrowing the error. Let us take the entire program again. This is same as it is. We have the same catch, but we have suppose we want to do the time job whenever we have this error, and after the time job 5 job we will do it over here in this catch. The rest of the 5 job we have already done in the outer block, for example. Fine. Okay, so what will happen is that whenever the error occur, it will go over here, and then we'll execute this, and then we are rethrowing the error E again as a unhandled error. At that time the rest of the portion of the font will be skipped. Let us go for understanding the coding from the main. Here we have a try block, then in main will be printed, object created, and then again font function has been called, and then font function again assign a try and catch. One has been called. We are over here. Here we have a c equal to I divided by j. Yes, we have an error. So error we have over here. It will execute this one. Okay, after execution this one again the same E we are using to throw E. So it will say that the error has been not handled as of now. Okay, fine. Okay, so after executing this statement, catch statement, before the throw E, or the statement will be executed, and then rest of the portion of the function will be skipped. It will come back as an unresolved error. So rest of the portion of this try block will be skipped, and then we'll try to match for the catch. That is matching. It will execute, and then what are the rest of the 5 tasks we can do it over here, and then it will come out from the catch and write last statement of the main. Let us check it. Fine. Okay, now let us go for the 9th program. Throwing the built-in exception. We can also throw the built-in exception, like throwing the user-defined exception. We can also do the checking like this, and then we can do like this, throw new arithmetic exception. So this is basically also valid. The output of this program will be exactly same as Java throw the built-in exception. Now use of the throws. Sometimes we want that our function should basically throw the exception. Here we know that, for example, here we have a function ABC. We have a value and then we have b value and then we have a c value. Okay, equal to a divided by b. Here we might have some error. Okay, we are the developer, we have developed this program and then we have developed the ABC function. But we want that whenever this function will be called, at that time the programmer should take care regarding the exception handling. We do not want to go for any exception handling things over here. We know that the error will occur, but that's basically we want to give the headache to the programmer who is calling our function. Fine, okay. So we want that this our particular here we have assignment and this is the communication details.